Welcome back. Yesterday, the judge on Michael Flynn's case, he's Judge Emmett Sullivan, fighting with the Justice Department, saying he was not required to rubber stamp the Justice Department's motion to dismiss the Flynn case for lack of cause. But the Justice Department fired back, essentially saying, we're the prosecutors here, not you. They're urging a federal appeals court to force Judge Sullivan to dismiss the prosecution of Michael Flynn because it was a wrongful case. Let's welcome Republican from Georgia. He is Representative Doug Collins. We welcome him back. He's on House Judiciary. We love having you back on, Congressman. Your take on this fight?
My take on this fight is you got a judge who's wrong and a Justice Department that's right. It's pretty simple, and it's pretty amazing that this judge would put his life's working career on the line for fighting something that should have been settled several weeks ago. And I think the Justice Department's brief in this actually, laid it out clearly. He cannot play the judge, prosecutor, special projects inquiry, however he wants to call it. And this is just a problem because the Flynn case shows the tip of the spear of the corruption that was involved in DOJ. And I'm glad to see them moving forward to dismiss this case. And I'll look forward, even more forward to actual prosecuting those who actually were responsible for getting us to that point.
Critics say, we broke the news when the transcripts of the Flynn's phone call with the Russian ambassador were declassified. What was your reaction when you saw what the controversy here and the transcripts were, that Flynn understood he thought the Russians might wish to retaliate for the Obama administration kicking out dozens of Russian diplomats over election meddling, but Flynn encouraging, hey, be temperate about it. Take reciprocal action. Don't escalate the situation into a tit for tat. When you saw that, what was your reaction?
I went back to my days as a young person when the Wendy's had a commercial that said, "Where's the beef?" It's like, really? What? Why were these classified? Liz, I have a question for anybody looking at these documents. Why were they classified? Why were they Why were they being withheld from the American people? I'll tell you why I believe they were probably being withheld is because the FBI was trying to hide what they did. They used these conversations to try and trap General Flynn, but basically they were also trying to get at President Trump and candidate Trump at the time. This is what's appalling about this. They used every trick that they could to try and disrupt this new coming administration. They had already tried to break it up while he was a candidate, and this is just a confirmation of that. To forever to understand why these would have been classified to start with is really sort of beginning to see how just corrupt Comey and Strzok and Page and then going all the way, frankly, what we now know was the discussions in the White House and the Oval Office with Obama and Biden and the rest of them. So it's just, again, it's a sad statement of where we are.
To what you're saying, let's listen to Senator Chuck Grassley telling us and explaining to the American people why they should care about this case. I'd like your reaction to that. Senator Grassley told us that he would agree with you, Congressman, that he feels that there was a cover-up for sitting on these transcripts for 3 years, the phone call with the Russian ambassador and Michael Flynn. Let's listen to Senator Chuck Grassley here.
Because if it can happen to Flynn, if they can do everything they can to get a legally elected president out of office, they can do it to you, Elizabeth, or to Joe Blow or Mary Smith. And that's why it's important for everybody to know that when your constitutional protections are violated, and they can be violated with the highest people in the FBI, then nobody's safe. And so the Flynn situation, his exoneration, is eventually going to be a lesson to the rest of the world that finally right wins out, but everybody's ruined in the process, and it shouldn't happen to any other American citizen.
Congressman, your reaction to that? Do you agree with it?
I agree. Amen. I mean, it's just an agreement, and it's something we've been saying. I've been saying for years. I was made fun of, for saying that there were, when we released a lot of transcripts from the Russia investigation, when we released transcripts from the issues that were going on, we were made fun of saying you're chasing something, Doug. You're trying to make something up. You're just protecting the president. You're doing these kind of things. No, there's no need to protect the president. The president was innocent. This president's been doing exactly what he said he did all along. He was the one that's targeted. President Trump was targeted by the FBI and the members of the intelligence community under the Obama administration. Let's have an honest discussion. Where's the front page Wall Washington Post, New York Times, who all were very quick to jump on anything that Adam Schiff would say that was never the truth, that anything that Nadler would say that wasn't the truth. Why don't they come back now? Because, they would have to admit they were wrong, Liz. And this is important. What the senator said is so true. If you think about this, if they thought we're so brazen that they could get away with it at that level, think what they were doing to normal investigations that they were under and letting it permeate out. This is just something that has to be fixed. And I'm looking forward for Durham getting to the bottom of this. And I'm looking forward to more being held accountable for this, because this is just wrong.
Congressman, will you come back in the show? We love your insights and perspective. Love having you on, Congressman Collins. Good to see you.